Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. This is Patrick Lee. Good to see you on here. Hope you like the new intro. We just rolled that out today. Midweek Motivation Live and coming to you from the downtown office studio. How do you like the beard here? It's No Shave November, right? So I've got to grow a few whiskers here. See how it looks. Had to clean up the neck a little bit. Haven't had a full beard in a while. We'll see how it looks. Hope you guys are doing all right today. Give me a like, a love, a thumbs up, like and share the video, start a watch party, send this to your friends. This is Midweek Motivation Live with Patrick Lee. We're going to be talking a little bit today about keeping your peace. Middle of the week, uncertain times, a lot of things are going on, and a lot of people have been asking me about it the last few days, and I think it's a topic that's pretty pressing. How do we keep peace in uncertain times? It's how many of you are experiencing some of this? Drop me a comment in here and we'll talk about it. Good to see people already tuning in, people already liking and loving. Hey Sal, good morning. Good to see you as usual. Always good to see my regulars on here, and then I'm finding a bunch of other new people that are watching. People from Egypt and India last week watching, and how about that, right? That's pretty exciting. How do you keep your peace in troubling times or uncertain times? There's a lot going on right now. I've got the new intro to the video. We saw that's the logical progression of the video, new countdown, new intro video, and then also my new layover. I had to create it for this today with the logo on there. Hope y'all give me a like and a love, thumbs up. Let me know if you like that. And so we got new layovers for this as well. It kind of looks like ESPN on here, right? And eventually I'll get something behind me. Maybe I'll go green screen and make it look like I'm at the Kentucky Derby. We're all next, but loving this, the new technology, it's making things look better. I appreciate that, and we are. I've also talked with my guys this week. We are fixing to start the podcast that I've been telling you about for the last couple of months. Podcast is coming up soon. Midweek Motivation Live podcast with Patrick Lee. I'm excited about that as well. So a lot of things are going on here in Patrick Lee world, the Patrick Lee Group, the real estate company as well. Wow, a lot of big things going on. Coffee. It's coffee time. When you talk a lot, you got to keep your throat moist, right? Good cup of coffee, keeping things going on. But yeah, the team continues to grow. My real estate business continues to be blessed. Yes, Ross, exactly. ESPN. Happy Wednesday, Christine. Good to see you on here as well. Appreciate that. A lot of people have been asking me questions lately about what do you think about the election? We talked about that before. We actually did a show on the debates, presidential debate, vice presidential debate. What do you think about coronavirus? We've talked about that. And you'd like to think that these topics have been beat like a dead horse, right? Talked into the ground with so much going on. I need to move my media stool here a little bit so I can get a better view here. I'm always moving around. Yes, I'm on my new MacBook Pro, so I'll move around, show you a little bit more of the office and the view. Isn't that view just amazing? This is awesome, right? I'm just going to back up over here, show you the view. This is downtown Amarillo here in the office. You guys can get a little view of some of that. I love this. You can see the ring light there in the background. You got to keep lighting on this old face to make me look halfway decent, right? So you can see for miles up here. I'm loving being downtown. I'm in downtown executive office suites with my good friend Kathy Schick. Has office locations here in multiple places in town and other towns as well. Shameless plug for Kathy Schick at Downtown Executive Office Suites. She also has Uptown Executive Office Suites here, multiple businesses in Lubbock. Very entrepreneurial, motivated young lady. It's awesome. proud to be in business with her here downtown. So I'm loving the view, loving the office, keeping the peace. For me, most of you know, sometimes I talk fast, got a lot going on. That's right, Cody, no shave November, buddy. So a lot going on, and you would say, well, it's easy to be peaceful. But one of the secrets to my peace, I'll just go ahead and share with y'all right now, is staying busy. I'm gonna share this. Hey, this is a Christian show. It's a business show. It's midweek motivation. I come to you on Wednesdays to try to motivate you in life. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit. I'm going to give you a couple of verses of scripture, a couple of things that I use to help me remain peaceful. Then we're going to talk a little bit about other methods that I use to maintain my peace, keep my motivation up in the middle of the week, in the midst of turmoil, strife, trouble, things like that, and let you know a little bit about where I'm coming from and see if some of this can be applied to your life. Maybe it'll help you have a little bit more peaceful life and help motivate you to get through the rest of your week. And you can share some of this with your friends as well, right? I was talking with one of my guys on here, Ross. Love my good friend Ross. He tunes in every week from another state where he's moved away to. And we were talking last week. He shared something with me that was very profound that he had shared on one of his videos. I had to write it down, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, say that again. Say that again. Say that again. I got to write that down because that's going to become a post. It's not what the topic is about today, but it applies to the topic. And we've talked about this in the past. Slow me down if I'm talking too fast. I'm sorry. I'll be a little more peaceful. Just not really. I'm not going to slow down. It's not in my nature to slow down. If you knew a tenth of what's going on in my life right now, you'd go, how in the world do you do it? Well, that's what we're talking about today. Ross shared with me last week something he had shared before that I thought was very great. And it was this line. It says, forgiveness empowers the offended, but retaliation empowers the offender. And I was like, what? Say that again. Forgiveness empowers the offended and retaliation empowers the offender. So one of the fastest ways to lose your peace is to be offended, right? We've talked about this topic in the past. It's pretty crazy stuff. No one needs to take offense to something just because someone says something wrong. But when you choose to forgive someone who has offended you, it frees you from that offense and that anger, that demotivating mindset, and it actually empowers you to move forward in peace. But if you retaliate against the person that's offended you, all you're doing is adding fuel to that fire, and you have actually empowered the offender. They don't know they got to you, they've offended you, and then they want to win, and it just continues to grow. It becomes this evil problem that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? So forgiveness is one of the number one ways to keep your peace. If someone's offended you, if you don't know what's going on in the middle of the storm, and you're living in this mindset of unpeacefulness, it's one of the surest ways for you to stay in that. So tip number one to get out of that, of course, right? Good morning, Marlene. Good to see you on here. Also, a bunch of people watching. The little ticker up in the corner always tells me about how many are watching immediately, and then that goes away. But then when it's all done, it tells you there's like 175 people watching, not 11. And then by the end of the week, the views, everything that goes on to social media stays there forever, right? So they continue to grow. And this is one of the things that I share with you almost every week. When it comes to blessing, growing your life, growing your business, whatever you hold on to is all that you'll ever have. But what you release goes into your future, and it multiplies and returns to you. So that's kind of how this show works. Every week I bring this show and I sow it into social media, and it continues to grow, which is neat. And people come back and they're like, man, I watched the show. Keep up the good work. So anyway, I appreciate that very much. One of the scriptures I wanted to share that goes along with what we were talking about was this in Proverbs 20 in the English Standard Version. It says it's an honor for a man to keep aloof from strife or stay away from strife, but the fools will be quarreling. And I'm like, wow, that goes into so much that's going on right now in social media. I have not left Facebook one of the mediums that is working very well for me. I'm not happy with the censorship that's happened on Facebook over the election and a lot of other things that are going on. So I have joined Parler. You can find me on Parler at Patrick Lee, and I'm also on MeWe. And a lot of you are on MeWe, and you're posting all over social media to join MeWe. Some other family members and friends of mine are on MeWe. I was on there. I've been on there for 2 years, and it was not a platform that was needed for me. And I hadn't been on it in quite a while, but I went ahead and reactivated that account, and that's growing exponentially. Also on Rumble. Rumble is, I'm also broadcasting this on YouTube. Many of you know Rumble is a much better alternative to YouTube, and I'm also on Magabook. Go to magabook.com, MAGABOOK, very similar to Facebook, but without the censorship. So those are other places that you can find me. I can't broadcast onto them yet. We'll see how that goes. But it is, if you go onto social media and you make a post, everyone wants to fight with you about whatever you post, right? It's foolish to get involved in all of these quarrels. As I was reading and going through some of my study, I came across some of these other scriptures in Proverbs chapter 29. A fool lets it all hang out, but a sage, meaning a wise person, someone with wisdom, quietly mulls it over. You've got to watch what's going on. Sometimes you see these Facebook posts, social media posts, Twitters, tweets, and you'll find that Parler, if you go to parler.com, it's very much like Twitter. MeWe is a little bit more like Facebook. You're able to post photos, have groups and friends, and a lot of things like that. And Rumble's more like YouTube. Magabook's more like Facebook. And I actually have a business Facebook called Workplace for eXp Realty, the agency that I work through. And we have our own Facebook, which has got no censorship and all of the junk involved, but it's mainly a business. So I'm in all of these different places. And I found that staying away from all of the fighting, there are a couple of times where someone will attack a friend of mine, and there will be times that I find it necessary to jump in and make a comment to come to the aid of a friend, but I seldom go out just looking for a fight. You have the right to your own social media. I have the right to my own social media. You have the right to post whatever you want, and realize that along with freedom and liberty does come consequences. So yes, we have the right to free speech, right? It's one of our constitutional rights, the right to free speech. So you can say whatever you want, but realize that everything that you say needs to be seasoned with the right amount of seasoning. So you can go out and spew hatred and poison the area around you with your tongue, or you can control your tongue and speak peace, love, and harmony. And if you speak peace, love, and harmony, what you're doing is you're sowing that forward. You're releasing that from your hand, and that can multiply in your future and come back to you, right? So one of the number one ways to remain peaceful, I have found, is to control my speech. I will get involved and defend a friend if I feel that they're being unjustly attacked, or if someone starts spewing lies about someone that I know, a church, a business, an organization, one of my friends, then I'm going to have to jump in the middle. And sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's going to be peace in that, and there are going to be people that are offended, and I understand that people are going to be offended sometimes. And you know what you have the right to do? You also have the right to be offended. And if you want to be offended, that's okay. You can live in that. And you also have the right to disagree with me. I had to say last week to another person, they said, I disagree with your statement. I said, you know what? You have the right to disagree with anything I say. You have the right to disagree with anything I say. That's, God bless America. We have the right to free speech. We also have to understand that there are repercussions that come along with the things that we say. Sometimes you say the wrong thing in the wrong way, and someone's going to punch you in the mouth for it, right? So even though you have the right to say it, someone else may just punch you in the mouth for saying what you say. So I have learned, and many people have thought that it's a sign of great intelligence in my past. They say, you just watch people a lot. I say, yes, I do. And they say, is it because you don't have an opinion? I said, oh, no, it's not because I don't have an opinion. Trust me, we all have opinions, and they're like elbows. Everyone usually has at least two, and sometimes more. I have opinions, but I have found from one old saying that it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Sometimes when you open your mouth with that harsh opinion about other people, it really lets people know, it kind of lets people know where you stand on things. And sometimes that can be offensive. So I have found to keep peace in my life, there are many times that I just bite my tongue. I don't really need to get involved in that. I have said many times in the past that you don't have to respond to every argument that you are not invited to. I'll say that again. You don't have to respond to every argument you are not invited to. And that means every time you see something on social media that is offensive to you, you don't have to respond to that, right? And when you do, all you're doing is starting strife. The fool lets it all hang out, right? You don't need that junk in your life. You just don't need it, right? I screenshotted a couple of these other ones I wanted to share with you today. And some of these are just pretty good. Better is some dry bread with peace than a house full of feasting with anger or strife. Does that make sense to y'all? The beginning of strife is like letting out water through a dam. So quit before a quarrel breaks out. I watched a video yesterday of a flood in a foreign country. It may have been Thailand, Singapore, China, Malaysia. And there was a flood, and there was a large earthen dam, and all the people were standing on the edge of this dam, and there was a very small stream of water, about 2 inches wide, just a little trickle going over the edge of this dam down into this valley, and they were jumping back and forth over it, laughing and pointing. And the video was about 3 minutes long, maybe 5, about 3, I believe, though. But over in about the end of the first minute, nothing changed. As you got into the second minute, that little bit of mud washed out of that crack, and to be about 1.5 foot wide, and they were playing in the water and jumping around and back and forth. And within the next minute, it went to be about 3 feet wide. By the end of the next minute, you watched the entire wall of that giant earthen dam give way. And that flooded the entire valley down below all of these people. Millions and millions and millions of gallons of water flooded this whole valley where it had been previously dammed up, all from one little crack. Angry speech is the same way. You can get away with it for a short time. You can open your mouth, you can run your mouth, and you're just going to cause trouble. Is that really worth your peace? Another one that I read in here says it's better to eat a salad in peace with a friend than to eat steak with an angry person. It's like, wow. And I love steak. I like a good salad, but man, I'm a meat eater. I'm a carnivore. I don't know about you guys. There's nothing better than a good ribeye steak, maybe a New York strip or a T-bone. And I went out and had 1 or 2 this last week for my birthday anniversary. And ate really good. But you know what? It's better to eat a salad or just a piece of bread in peace with someone than it is to eat good food in the presence of haters and angry people. It's just not worth it. So number one of the best ways I would say for you to keep peace in uncertain times, and the uncertain times are this. The presidential election, good Lord, people are on the right, people are on the left, people are suing each other, people are spewing hate. A bunch of friends of mine went to the Trump rally this Wednesday in Freedom Square in Washington, D.C. It was an incredible success that many of you never saw, other than my conservative friends saw it if you're on these other social media platforms. But the mainstream media, of course, did not cover it until it was about over. Late at night, there were some very small crowds left in the streets. and the Antifa, Black Lives Matter people, and started attacking the individuals. They would separate them, isolate them from the crowd, and then started attacking women, pregnant people, the elderly, people that couldn't defend themselves, in a mob type setting. Then the mainstream media says, 10 people arrested at Trump rally. And I'm like, well, they don't mention that all 10 of the people that were arrested were attacking the people that were there for the rally. They were outsiders. So that's the kind of trouble that we get involved in. And just by me saying this on my video right now, someone is getting offended. And I'm like, it just is. You have the right to be offended, but I'm going to walk in peace with you anyway. I'm going to defend my friends, but I'm going to stand up and speak what's on my mind. But I'm not going to do it with hate. I'm not going to hate anybody. I'm just not going to do it, because that gives way to losing your peace. And I'm just not willing to give that up. My kids have said it. Good morning, Pete. Good to see you on here also, watching every week. Hope you're enjoying that Start Fresh swag we delivered to you last week for liking and sharing the video. Send me a picture of that with you and your new Start Fresh cap online. That'd be awesome. I'll make a post for you. Many of you have received other things in the mail. I think we're going to be doing a giveaway today. Today, I'm going to be giving away a 3 CD collection. Like and share the video, and you're going to be entered to win 3 CDs from my buddy that just released the new Start Fresh single, hip hop artist Aaron. We're going to be giving away Table Talk, Movement, and A Tale of Two Cities, a 3 CD set of Aaron, an incredibly busy touring young hip hop artist friend of mine. Everyone's like, what's this old guy doing giving away hip hop? Man, you got to hear this guy. I'm just telling you, he's a good friend and an incredible minister of the gospel, incredible musician and artist. It'll bless your life. It'll knock your socks off. You'll just be blown away. So anyway, yeah, like and share the video today, and you'll be entered to win this 3 CD set. We'll get them in the mail to you right away as soon as we pick a winner, probably by the end of the day today or tomorrow morning. Anyway, so yeah, number 1, stop spreading hate in your speech. Another thing that I do to help stay calm is realize where my joy, my peace, and my calmness comes from. I've said this in the past to many bosses that I've had. And here's one of the things that many of you don't know about me. Ever since I was a teenager, I've always wanted to work. I've always wanted to make money. I've always wanted to bless other people. I've always wanted to stay busy. When I was a kid, I mowed yards. We had a little old lady that had a dog named Skip, and I used to go walk Skip for money so I could go to the fair. When I was, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and we would buy school clothes from, the Montgomery Wards or the Spiegel catalog, and I didn't like the green and red striped denim jeans. In a restaurant under the table so I could earn my own money and buy my own clothes. And then started getting jobs. In Oregon, you pump gas for a living. I was a gas jockey. I flipped burgers. I've done everything, driven taxi. I've always worked 2 or 3 jobs. And everywhere I've ever went, I've always been promoted into management. So I've either owned my own business multiple times, or I have been in management, a management position at every job I've had. And it's mainly because of this. You work hard, you walk fast, you act like you got a little bit of sense, and you take responsibility. And you do the right thing with that responsibility, and you honor those people above you. But one of the things that I've shared with every boss I've had, which has sort of been weird to them, but I think they didn't like it at first, but they liked it. They eventually did, was I just told them that you're not my supply. And they said, what does that mean? Well, and they said, well, this is how much we can offer you for the job if you want this promotion. I've always told them, can do it, that's not a problem. And they're like, good, we thought you would want more money. And I'm like, it's really not about that. It's about the position, and it's about helping other people. And at the end of the day, you're not my supply. And they say, what? I say, you're not my supply. God is my supply. And God will take what you've offered me, and I will do what I need to do on what I believe and how I live, and I will honor God with that, and God will bless me anyway. God will always meet my needs. If I don't have enough to meet my need, then it's a seed, and I'm going to sow it into my future where it's going to multiply and come back. And they just look at me with their mouth open like catching flies, and they're like, what? They don't get it because their mind isn't heavenly. They don't understand the principle of seed time and harvest and all these different things that I live in now. So that I try to share with you every week. So I tell them, you're not my supply. When you understand that your supply comes from God, when you honor his kingdom, his body, live by his principles, you can't help but be blessed in life. And when you sow peace to other people, you get peace back. That's another thing that people need to understand. If you want to keep peace in troubling times, realize that the Democrats and the Republicans are not your supply. President Trump is not my supply. I believe that he's the president for America because he's pro-life. Yep, I'm a pro-lifer. And I believe that the man that protects our unborn children is the man that should be leading our country. Therefore, whether I like him or not has nothing to do with it. I would vote for the person that's going to protect the unborn. I'm going to vote for the person that's pro-Israel, because the Bible says that God will bless those that bless Israel. So I have to do that. You don't understand. That's just being kingdom minded. I have to do that. And I don't mind doing it. I love doing it. I get a kick out of doing it because God blesses me. So number one, keep your conversations right. Don't sow strife. Don't sow hate. Don't go out and attack people verbally. Number two, realize that your supply isn't just the work of your hand. I mean, you have to realize where your supply comes from. At the end of the day, it's not the government that's going to come bail you out. It's how hard you work for what you deserve and keeping as much of what you earn. Okay? So there's a lot that goes into that we don't have time to talk about in this short show today. But these are concepts that will bless you, that will motivate you to go forward and do better, right? Realize who your supply is, where your blessing comes from, and realize that it's not the government. If you're looking to the government and you think they're here to help you, you are sadly wrong, whether the Republicans or the Democrats are in charge. If you will take these principles and realize that no matter who's in the government, no matter who's in the White House, God's still in his house, right? God's still on the throne. And these things are principles. Even businesses that don't claim to be Christian businesses that have made millions and millions of dollars, if they ever tell you the secrets to their success, they're all principles that were started and written down in the best business out there, and that's the Bible. God tells you through his authors that the things that you need to do to be successful in life, it's all in here, man. And I just want you to get that, right? I want you to get that. Everything that you need for success in life can be found in the Bible, and all the business books that you read will get their base content from biblical principles. I got to jump off here. I've got a bunch of calls I've got to make. I've got a bunch of appointments I've got to get to. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want you to have peace in the midst of uncertain times. Do that by keeping your conversations calm, your spirit calm, and realizing where your supply comes from. Okay? I love you. Excuse me. I love you guys. I want to see you next week. It's going to be great. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.